Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of almost all ages, with parental consent, the Sick Twisted Minds at Sacrificial Productions brings you a new style of horror film, like nothing you have seen before. There are no cops, no investigations. There is no backstory, no follow-up of the victims who were brutally tortured and murdered. Our story isn't about them. Normal Terror is about a single dad struggling to make ends meet. His son is his first priority. He goes to work, pays his bills, and is generally a great dad. The twist comes after he puts his son to bed. This is where he releases his stress. Some people do yoga, some hit the gym, some go for runs, some people paint on a canvas. An anonymous source once wrote on an abandoned asylum wall, "I never understood people until I took one apart just to see how it worked." If you are rear-ended in traffic, most people's thought runs to anger and their primal instincts of hurting the other party. Sam Neill does not have the ability to stop that primal instinct. Let us take you into the mind of a killer. Normal Terror is a concept from the mind of Sam Mason, who wrote, directed, produced, and is starring in this new age feature film.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy. Today I have my guest, Scott Smith. Scott, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad. Thanks for jumping on last minute. I know we've been, trying schedules a little bit different, but I appreciate you coming on this tonight.
Yeah, anytime, man. I know we're talking about this for a while, and we get some ideas going back and forth, emailing each other and whatnot. And I'm just glad this is happening right now. So a lot of exciting stuff to talk about.
All right, so I'm going to get right into it. First, I'm going to ask you who and or what got you into horror? And, what's the first movie you remember seeing, I'll say as a kid, that scared you?
Okay. So, first of all, when I was a kid, I was never a fan of horror. I would at least expect for myself as a person to be in horror movies because, man, when I was a kid, I saw something scary, I would jump in my parents' bed, But I remember seeing Michael Jackson Thriller the opening scene where it turns to a werewolf scared the living bejesus out of me, even though it was the music video. And then later on, probably when I got a year or two older, probably about in my 9 or 10 years old, I went over to my cousin's house and they were watching Friday the 13th Part 6,
Mm-hmm.
Jason Comes Back to Life. And there's the scene where he kills two people in the car and had a spear, and it just, oh my god, it scared me, but I was kind of thrilled by it. So from that day on, I kind of became a huge Jason fan. They say the best thing to overcome fear is to embrace it, and I've been a fan of horror ever since, thanks to Jason Voorhees. So.
That's awesome, man. Jason's actually my favorite, hands down my favorite slasher. I remember watching that as a kid. I remember back in the day, I know you probably remember this too, Friday the 13th, I believe it was USA Network that would show the movies, the marathon all the time. The one that would usually show the later ones, 6, 7, 8. The one that would show the most I remember was Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, that's my favorite. I mean, a lot of people hate Jason Takes Manhattan.
Wow.
But because the poster for it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be more Manhattan. The last 20 minutes maybe is Manhattan scene. So it's just basically a lot of killing stuff happening on the boat. so people are kind of disappointed. But that was my favorite one, though.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, I have no judgment because everybody has their own opinions on that. That was actually lower on my list. I don't know if you got a chance to hear that podcast I did. I dropped it on Friday the 13th actually, and it wasn't. I don't hate any of the movies to be honest with you. Like I like them all in their own ways. It's just that was lower on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of what I did. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm starting from least favorite to favorite. I did Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Jason Takes Manhattan, Freddy vs. Jason, the remake, um, Final Chapter. Oh damn, what was part five? A New Blood, Friday the 13th Part One, Friday the 13th Part Two, then Part Seven, Part Six, and my number one was Part Three. And honestly, like Part Three, I know it was kind of there wasn't a lot of killing and a lot of action in it, like the later movies. But I think Part Three, and this list can change. I was talking to Henry and my friend Rob about this actually when we were recording. But this is one of those lists where you can watch the movie and it can change every single time you watch the series. But I think I picked Part Three. I mean, the story was good, and then just because it was where the iconic mask finally came into play in the third movie, so I was like, that has to be up high on my list, and I just made it number one.
Yeah, but like that's what's like a staple for Jason. That definitely a hockey mask. But however, the remake did a pretty good job in doing the showing the iconic mask. You know, he looks in the mirror and you see the Jason mask. I thought the remake was actually pretty good. Because a lot of remakes these days when we're gonna remake this or remake that, they do a kind of like a horrible job.
Mm-hmm.
Like talking about remakes, you and I actually saw the new It together.
With
I haven't even get a chance to ask you your thoughts on the new It, but as I said, that's another movie that people were skeptical about because I don't like to call them remakes. I like to call them reimagining.
Okay.
A person reimagining their favorite, horror at that time. So, what did you think about the reimagining of It?
Well, before I jump into that, I'm gonna just jump into the Jason remake. My biggest issue with that, honestly, like the biggest issue I have with that is that they said it in like, well, it came out in '09, so let's say around those times. I know it's 9 years old now, but I feel like if they did it more '80s based, it would have been so much freaking better. And which this can help me segue into It, the new It, how they did the new It around this time, but the time period for the movies, like back in the '80s, which was just perfect. It worked so well for the movie. I actually really enjoyed that movie a lot, and like at the time, excuse me, when that movie was coming out, Henry gave me the book It to read before the movie came out because this movie was supposed to tie with the book a little bit more than the previous miniseries thing. So I didn't have time to read through it, so I found something online, and I was doing the audiobook thing. I finished it in time and all that, and like the way I imagined the clown in my mind, I'm not gonna say it was on point with the one from the new It, but it was close enough, especially with the suit and everything. And I really liked the movie a lot. There were some things I wish they put in the movie, but I feel like they did an excellent job with that movie, a real excellent job, and I cannot wait for chapter two. What are your thoughts on it?
I really enjoyed it a lot. You know what's hard? Not I like how you mentioned that they kept it in the time period.
Mm-hmm.
Go back a little bit as you're talking about the remake of Jason. It wasn't the 80ish. It didn't feel like the 80s in that remake. It felt like the 80s. It felt like what I mean, like something out of the book that you're reading. Also, too, what's great about that movie is the kid actors that they picked. Like they really sold that movie. It's hard to get talented actors to do that, especially something like that. And I don't know how to say his last name. Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I thought he did an excellent job as Pennywise. I mean, he just had that creepy look to him. And what's great about it is he's not in the movie that much. You don't see the clown that much in the movie, which is great because it can take form for many things. But that just makes the suspense because you don't know when you're going to see him, next in the movie. And there's little Easter eggs in the movie that there's one that a lot of people miss is when Oh Jesus! I forget the names of the characters already, but you know how I think it was the one kid gets injured and they're going to the pharmacy, right? To patch him up.
The one
Yeah,
that's yeah, the one that the gazebo's kid. I don't.
yeah.
Oh man,
Um,
what's his name?
well, when he's sitting on the box and there's a painting in the back and there's like a truck.
Hmm.
Underneath the truck, there's a Pennywise. It's painted on the wall. It's
Nice.
when he got like pretty much cut up by Bowers, the one kid there. I forget his name.
Yeah,
But
Henry.
yeah, Henry. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, him. But yeah, so like to do, and then they did. I heard from Henry they did a couple of things
Hmm.
from the book, which was good. Like the the guy at the homeless guy who had like what? He had like leprosy or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, he took the pill that happened and whatnot. So it was good to see them implement. That's what people want to see these day and age when they see a remake is see more stuff out of the book. Now, granted, you can't add everything from the book, but what's good about it is it's going to be a second chapter, so they can definitely add more stuff from the book, especially for the hardcore fans. And one more thing, the original It was still good to this day. You know, I mean, it got a little corny here, corny there, but it was one of another horror movies that really got me into horror. I mean, just seeing Tim Curry suck down Georgie, you know, in that scene that was very, very traumatizing. But it helped me embrace horror as a whole.
that now see with that one, the original. I haven't seen that probably since I was about maybe 12 years old. I need to get back into that one. But going back to this one, what you were saying about the actors and all that, they really this movie they did a I think they really did a great job with the casting because sometimes you have a good movie, good story and everything, but the cast is just it's not all that. But I feel like they did perfect with the cast with these kids, and they stole the show with this movie. And I like how they followed the book a lot, but I like how they made them like really be like kids, like how kids would act during those times, just kind of having a good time. You know what I mean? They had the little losers club, they had the little hangouts and all this stuff, and it was a good movie. Like I know that like you were saying, Pennywise wasn't in the movie a shit ton, but it worked for this because you got to know the characters, you got to get to know the kids, you got to really like the kids, and like it was one of these things where it's like you don't want anything to happen to these characters, even if like just say if you're going into this movie blind, you never read the book, you never seen the old movie, you're going to this movie blind, and it's just like I can relate to these characters. I really love these characters. I want them all to survive. Bev's dad, you fucking thought he was a dick. Nobody liked him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it really freaking worked. And that going back to the Jason thing, if they would have went with the '80s theme, I feel like it would have been a lot better. And if they would have took a more serious tone with the movie, that was another thing I didn't like about that. Like it was too. I'm not saying that there can't be a little comedy in horror because I don't mind that. I enjoy that, but I feel like there was too much for this movie, for that movie. I'm saying, and they could have did. You know, if they would have gave it a more serious tone and the '80s feel to it, I feel like it would have been damn near perfect. I'm not gonna say it would have been perfect. And I like one thing I did like about it a lot is how Jason really knew the camp, how he had like the trap set up, how he had the underground thing and all that. I like that because I'm like, this guy's been here for his whole life or afterlife, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
years, and he should adapt to he should adapt to his surroundings. He should really know the camp by hand. It explains how he pops up out of nowhere all the time so quick because he has these underground tunnels and all that. Like that to me, I thought that was freaking awesome. And I
Well,
like,
that's what was that's why it made me enjoy the remake
mhm.
because of that. Because they explaining Jason knows his surroundings. He's been living off the land. He knows how to use these weapons. He knows how to get the point at a quick, a quick, you know, yeah. I mean, like quickly. Sorry.
No, it's good.
But yeah. So like Jason himself in the movie was great. You know, it made sense. And, but like as you said, that you have other people in the movie, and it kind of drifts us off. But like the story of Jason himself in the remake, I thought was fantastic. And I said with him getting the hockey mask and looking in the mirror was pretty cool too. How they did that, the transition for that as well. So that wasn't bad as well. I think Jason, that movie wasn't bad. The story was good. It just, they kind of went off on the other actors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jason, I don't think Jason was even in that movie that much either. Was he? It's been a while since I've seen it. I don't think he did in that movie that much, but when he does, it's important. You know, it's like, oh, it makes sense. You know, I mean, he got some pretty cool kills in that movie as well, and whatnot. So
Oh yeah, he definitely did, and like I mean, he was in a decent amount, and like when he was in it, he really did steal the show. But I just, like I said, my biggest thing was like I wish I had the '80s feel. I wish the movie took. I mean, you had the comedy relief. You have that in damn near every movie, which I'm fine with. But I just wish it had more of a serious, darker tone. I'll say even.
yeah, especially if like a person like Jason's hunting you down on his you know, his
Yeah,
territory. You know what I mean? That's his domain.
yeah. Now the kills in the movie were freaking awesome, and I'm gonna ask you. I mean, you haven't seen the movie in a while. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but from what I can remember, I'm gonna ask you this. I'll tell you what mine was first. My favorite kill that I think I can remember, and it's the sleeping bag kill where he hung the chick up over the campfire.
Yep.
That
Yep.
was probably
Like the
one.
first kill, like no, well, not the first kill, but
It was one of
it's
them.
like it's right in the beginning.
It was, yeah. It was in the intro. Like, they had the little intro thing, and then the movie started. It was right in the intro. That and
Yep.
I thought that was an awesome kill right there. But yeah, I think that was my favorite. I think that was my favorite kill in the movie that I can remember. That's the one that stands out at least.
The sleep bag is always like iconic. You know, that's even in Friday the 13th game. They put in the sleep bag kill. Kane Hodder, you know, went for that game and did the motion capture for that. As far as I remember, I actually enjoyed, but what I can remember, I mean, besides the sleep bag kill as well, is when the one woman there is swimming and she's hiding from Jason, and she goes underneath like the dock,
Hmm.
and he's walking over, and you can see Jason, and you think she got away, and all of a sudden the spear goes right through the dock, right into her head, and then he just lifts it out of her head. That was actually pretty cool because like you know it's like, oh, you think you escaped from Jason, but he already knew you were there. You know, just shows you how smart he is as well. You know, he's just not like this. You know, except for like zombie Jason, he's not like this lug of a person. You know, he's actually intelligent. And going back to what we said, you know, he knows his way of it. He knows his territory. You know, so he knows you like, okay, this person probably here. I'm just gonna mess with them for a little bit, and before I kill them, like play with your food almost. So
Yeah, I did like that about it. Kind of like a little cat and mouse type of deal. Like, I'm gonna play with you for a little bit, and then I'm gonna fucking kill you because I'm Jason and I can do that. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Another thing about the movie. What was I gonna say? I'll tell you a funny moment in the movie. Me and Henry, after we see, like, we seen it in theaters twice for one, but I ended up buying the movie and we rewound this part probably about 10 times. It's when it was, I don't remember the guy's name. It was the main guy that was like the jock, the big diesel dude that was an asshole.
right,
The one that cheated on his girlfriend, the one that had the line, your tits are stupendous with the other chick. But
yep,
it was after the cops came and Jason killed the cop and Jason was on the roof and the guy that I was just talking about, he was in the cop car, like in the front or whatever. Jason threw somebody off the roof and the guy, whoever he threw off the roof, landed on the cop car and the guy screamed like a girl. And yo, we laughed so. And you worked with Henry for I don't know how long, but I'm sure you've seen him have his little laughing tantrums. We,
yeah, yeah,
and we both laughed for so long. Like we rewound that at least 10 times, and it was just like that part of the movie didn't bother me. Like in any, first of all, Jason's always throwing people through something, or he's always throwing people around,
yeah.
literally.
The windows left and
Yes,
glass, a lot of windows.
I love it.
Yeah,
But yeah, that right there, like I said, if it had the '80s feel with that right there, I would. Oh my goodness, I feel like that movie would have been, like I said, damn near perfect if it had the '80s feel to it. Just because it's like it's what we grew up. I mean, I know the movies were out before we were born, but it's what we grew up on when you got old enough to watch the movies. It's what we loved. It's what we enjoyed.
it's pretty much what you're saying. It's basically it's what we always go back to. Like, you know, Friday the 13th was actually like what, like last week, like 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Like, and when it's Friday the 13th, I gotta pop in, some Friday the 13th or play Friday the 13th video game that just came out like I think it was like last year. So it's like it, you know those movies keep you coming back. Because I enjoy them. They're campy and whatnot, but it's the campiness that brings me back. It's that love for the campiness, and just for Jason. It's just awesome to see him just go on a murdering spree. I mean, that sounds like I'm being a little bit of a psycho, but it's just like you appreciate that. You're kind of rooting for Jason because like his story. Like he was a kid, he drowned at Crystal Lake, and none of the counselors watched him. So you're like, yeah, Jason, you go get him.
Exactly. Exactly, man. Like I have the same feel. Even like as a kid when I was watching these movies, I'm rooting for Jason. I'm like, kill these motherfuckers. Kill every single one of them. And you know what's crazy though is like when you root for the villain in these movies, it's like because I'm thinking to myself like as far as the Jason movie goes, like you said, he drowned because people weren't watching him and all this stuff. His mother, his mother was doing the killing in the original one.
Right, absolutely. Yep.
And then his mother gets killed, and somehow he sees it. You never know where he is. He's in the woods, or he's looking from the lake somehow, whatever. But he sees it, so then that's his revenge to just kill anybody who goes there, slaughter them, slaughter them, slaughter them, which I think is freaking awesome. I love it, and it kind of has you rooting for him because it's like Jason. If you think about it, he has a sad story. He died as a child. Legend has it he dies as a child. I don't know how we don't know how he became an adult. That's not important because Jason's the man. He sees his mother get decapitated, and you come to that camp, you're getting killed, which I love it. And it's like you said, it's a campy movie. It can be cheesy, whatever, but it worked. It really freaking worked. And like even nowadays with slashers, they don't really have that iconic slasher. Actually, well, before let me yeah, they never made that another iconic slasher besides like in the 80s and all, 70s, 80s and all that stuff, maybe early 90s. And I think, did you see the movie Terrifier? Before I get on this little quick tangent.
No, I haven't seen Terrifier. I was gonna segue into other horror stuff, but go ahead, continue.
Okay, we can segue into that right after. But the movie Terrifier with Art the Clown, have you seen All Hallows Eve? Or
No,
no?
man. No, I haven't seen All Hallows Eve. I've seen Sleepy Hollow, but not All Hallows
Too
Eve.
little different, man. But anyway, I highly, highly recommend watching the Terrifier movie. Amazing. It doesn't really have a story at all, but it's like it's a newer movie, but it'll remind when you watch it, it'll remind you of an '80s slasher. It's really good, and I honestly feel, and I honestly hope that I think they'll do more movies. I hope they do more movies, and I think this will be like the next big name slasher if they stick with it because it's really that good in my opinion. Like I said, the story could be stronger, but other than that, like with the kills and everything, and the way that Art the Clown is, and the guy who played him, it was amazing. Like the clown is he's not like the typical clown making jokes and making noise. He's silent. He's a silent killer, a silent assassin. He's like a mime, but he does stuff that makes you laugh. Like say if the clown's laughing in the movie, he's doing like a laughing gesture, but he's not like making the noise of laughter. I it's real gory. I think you would enjoy it. I highly, highly, highly recommend that movie, Terrifier, and it was fucking amazing. Like to me, in my opinion, as far as all the horror movies I've seen this year, like the newer, I can't remember every single horror movie I've seen this year, but as far as the ones that I've seen this year for the first time, I'll say
Yep.
this one's probably hands down my favorite. Like there's another amazing podcast. It's called Three Guys at Horror. That's another horror podcast, but they did a little review on the movie, and I gave me personally just from what I watched from it. This is minus the story. This is going by. It's like a B movie, like I say, the budget B film. I gave it a 9.5, and it
Oh,
was
wow.
mainly because of just like I said again. I know I'm repeating myself. It didn't really have a story to it, but if you watch it, you'll kind of see like the way the clown is. The clown's really fucking creepy, and the kills are brutal. They're amazing, and I don't. There's one kill in there that when you see the movie, I'll just tell you it's probably one of my favorite kill. It's my favorite kill in the movie. Probably one of my favorite. I can't think of them all. Maybe one of these days I'll do a list like a top 5 kills in all horror movies that I've ever seen. That's how good this movie was.
Do that, you know, I'm surprised. Or even like a top 10, or you know what you gotta do? You gotta do a top 11 because you gotta do overachieve than anybody else, you know.
Matter of fact, before you get into your thing, let's do. I want to do a top 13 because of Jason. He's gonna be on that list. Top 13. Lucky number 13.
I gotta be a part of that.
Definitely, man, definitely.
Talking about clowns,
Mhm.
touch on that. You can't not segue into something else until we mention Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Come on, that even though it's a little bit comedy and cheesy and stuff, man, that movie was great. Have you seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I seen that a couple years. I seen it one time a couple years ago with my wife, and it was a fun movie. Like I would have probably liked it and appreciated it a lot more when I was a kid. I do want to revisit that movie just to kind of, just to get a refresher on it.
Right.
But it was fun. Don't get me wrong, it was fun. And tell me your thoughts on it. And I'm just gonna throw this out there. The question: would you want to see a remake of that? You could tell me about the movie and then answer that question after or before. That's up to you.
I'll answer it after if I want to see the remake. Seeing Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I remember seeing it for the first time, and you know, kind of creeped me out a little bit. It was kind of weird. I was like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it was on Netflix. I think it was like last year. I saw it again. I'm like, oh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Putting people in cotton candy and doing shadow puppets. He's taking a cop, making him a puppet, like a mannequin puppet, whatever. There's a lot of corny, cool stuff. Mischief stuff that like clowns would do. But it was still horror. There were people in cocoons and sticking a straw in the cocoon. Well, it's like cotton candy cocoon, and drinking their blood and whatnot. So it's like but it's more. When I saw it the second time, it seemed like a little bit more of like a comedy horror more than a horror. So like I appreciated it a lot more when I saw it the second time because I understood it a little bit better. For a remake, I think they should leave that alone, for what it is. Because, again, as we were talking earlier about, remakes or reimagining, people, what they do is they try to look back on the older film, like it. People like the older, with Tim Curry compared to the new one. It's hard. It's hard for people to separate the two, because they always have a comparison when it comes to that. But I think a movie like that should just be left alone because it's just good. It's just good what they did, for what like a little bit comedy horror. I mean, it really didn't have too much of a plot to it. It's just this killer clowns came from space, start killing people, mischief, doing clown stuff and whatnot. So it was just good, it's good all around.
I get you there. See, me, I'm one of those people that I know a lot of people hate remakes, reboots, or the term that you're coming up with that I actually like is reimagined. But I do enjoy them as long as it's done right. Like for example, oh shit, what movie was it? I don't like. Oh fuck, I gotta think real quick now. I'm trying to think what movie I was talking about the other day. Well, shit, I threw one out there in a horror group a while ago. Because me and my good friend Rob, he's like a brother. We did a podcast on Jaws, and I was like, there's never really been a shark movie that lives up. There hasn't been a shark movie that lives up to that, in my opinion. I wouldn't mind seeing a reboot / remake of that, but not too much CGI though. But just I don't know. I wouldn't mind, but at the same time, that movie was to me. That movie was it was really good. the original Jaws, but I wouldn't mind seeing a remake or a reboot of that. I know a lot of people that are going to hear this podcast, and you may even disagree with it, which is 100% perfectly fine. That's, that's everybody has their own opinions on it. But I just feel like that movie could have been, I don't know. I feel like nowadays if they would have done it, same exact story though, like don't add too much bullshit. Like when they do a remake or a reboot, they change the story up. Just, I think that would have been a fun one to redo.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, we've been talking about so many horror movies, like Jaws. Jaws has always been like a go-to, I mean, like it made people scared to swim at the beach.
Shit, I am.
I
I'm
mean, it's
terrified.
like, oh my God, a great white shark.
Yep.
I mean, but I mean, what's great about Jaws, as long as you have that, again, as we said earlier in this podcast, the remake of the Jason movie or reimagining, is as long as you have that 80s feel, that 80s feel, because, like, again, Jaws, half the time you only saw Jaws fin or when he was going for the kill.
Mm-hmm.
It was that build up when the next time you're going to see him on screen. Or they do the fake out when, the guy was throwing the chum over the side of the boat and he goes to look away and Jaws pops out of the water and he looks up. He's like, well, we're going to need a bigger boat,
Yep.
Like as long as it has that kind of little campy 80s stuff with the, reimagining of it, that'd be a great movie to visit for a remake. Because, I mean, the shark was mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mechanical shark. It was actually named Bruce. So that's the shark that was named Bruce. So it was pretty cool. So, like, if they get enough funding, you can always make another mechanical shark, so you don't have to really do much CGI. But this day and age, it's probably cheaper to do CGI, and Jaws doesn't really have to be on screen that much either. What makes it so good is that build up, of him when he's going to strike again. Is he going to strike with all the people at the beach? Is he going to strike that fisherman boat, that is out there? You just don't know. That's what makes the Jaws movie so good. So that's my opinion.
No, I agree with everything you just said there. Like, it's not a movie that has to be remade. It's just something that, I thought of it one day. I think, as a matter of fact, there was a post on this horror group, and they said something, like, what movie would you like to see remade? And that's just the first thing that popped in my head. Like, it'd be a fun remake. It doesn't necessarily have to be done, but it would be fun. You know what I mean? It'd be a fun remake.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Again, as I said, like, I mean, not to be redundant, but like, it's one of those films that the main attraction, which is Jaws shark, it doesn't have to really be in the film that long. It's that build up. As long as you do the build up correctly for for that movie, it can be stellar.
I'll branch off onto that. I'll say the build up and the way the shark looks, because again, like you were saying, it'd probably be a lot cheaper for them to do CGI than do a mechanical shark. But if the shark looks stupid or doesn't look good, look damn near, no, matter of fact, with the stuff they have out now, if that shark doesn't look real, if it looks too animated, too cartoony, too robotic, it's that right there. I don't care how good the story is. I don't care how good the build up is. That right there can kill it, because that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's the main attraction of the movie. It's like, I want to see this fucking shark. I want to see how this shark looks. You know what I mean? Like, that can kill it.
Well, what's great about the first Jaws movie is the opening scene with the woman skinny dipping out in the ocean, and she's just swimming. All of a sudden, she's gagged once, starts panicking, yanked again, comes up, and yanked again, and then she doesn't come up. I think it's 3 times they yank her. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's like, what the heck, yank her down? Even if you don't know about sharks, whatever, like in the ocean, whatever, it's like, pull it down. And then that, like, we found, like the shark attack, we found this remains of this woman, whatever, washed up on the beach. It's like, oh, geez, that must be a huge shark. And like, oh, wow, how massive is this shark? Where is it? And it's always like a special event. These shark attack always happen near like a big special event.
Yes, they do.
If you're gonna do a remake, have like this like big special event where all these people at the beaches and stuff, because that's like the campy 80s movies. There's always a big special event going on,
That is true. At the beach, a little party or whatever, a little festival, summer festival, and You know,
break. Yeah,
yeah.
anything really.
You know what's crazy about the Jaws thing? And I mean, obviously, I didn't know this watching it as a kid or even as a young teen. But great white sharks are not the most aggressive sharks. It's the bull sharks are really aggressive, which I mean, not everybody knows about a bull shark like you do a great white, so you couldn't really do Jaws with a bull shark.
Right.
And I know great whites get bigger, but I mean, just throwing this out there, if they did a shark movie with a bull shark in it, because the bull shark is the one shark that can go in rivers and all that, it can go in fresh water, so that would be a fun movie. Not Jaws, just throwing it out there for a shark movie. Or, it can go in the river and it can go in the ocean, so it can go back and forth pretty much. That would be kind of fun, in my opinion. But again, they'd have to do it right. Or it can be one of those cheesy movies. I haven't seen the movie. I'm sure it's cheesy as hell. The Piranha 3D, which I probably will watch one day. It,
I think I saw a prawn 3D. It was just a little campy and what. I mean, the piranhas really weren't looking that great for CGI, but for a movie about piranhas like tearing people apart, it's very gruesome, very bloody, and it's satisfying a little bit. Don't pay attention to the story really.
oh,
You're
just
there for like Jaws. You're there for Jaws.
yeah,
The piranhas. You're rooting for the piranhas. So that's what it's about.
Now back to the Friday the 13th, the game. How is that game? I haven't purchased it yet. I would like to. I'm just kind of, but I've seen people talking about it online, but I haven't talked to anybody that I personally know you. So I haven't talked to anybody that I personally know that actually owns it. Well, a couple cousins and stuff, but I know you're into horror and stuff. So
Yeah, it's not a problem. So last year, they came out with the Friday the 13th game. Now, everybody knows they only had one previous game before that, I believe, which was the NES one, where it was a side scroller and the map was confusing. Left was going up, right was going down. You go to
yep,
the cabin and look for counselors and try to find Jason and it'll hit you with a toothbrush, all that fun stuff. Um, so they decided to make their own game, which is basically you can play as Jason, which
hmm
is awesome, or you can play as a counselor. Now, up to eight people can play, so there would be seven counselors and one person Jason. And you can set your preference if you want to be a counselor more often, or you just want to be Jason.
oh,
And
that's
also
cool.
too, if you don't feel like dealing with online people and whatnot, you can just play as Jason and verse the AI and just go on a murdering spree, kill people at the camps. Far as I know, they had the Packanack Lodge, which was I think in the second one was Packanack.
hmm
So like when you go into the Packanack Lodge, it's pretty much on point of the films and whatnot, like the campsites and whatnot,
Oh, that's awesome.
which is kind of scary but cool. That they took the time to do that. Game is still buggy, but the developer team is small. They're still constantly working on it. The kills are fantastic. It's like it's you're Jason, and when you capture somebody, you're pretty much dead unless you have a pocket knife. They add like a self-defense item with a pocket knife.
hmm
You gotta find. So when you're the counselor, you gotta run away from Jason. Cabins are kind of safe, but you can knock down. You can not knock down. He basically breaks the door down to get in the cabin. The survivors have to find the fuse and find the phone box to escape. Get three car parts, which is the keys, the battery, and the gas to escape. Uh, what else? Or find the gas and propeller for the boat. They can see it on boat. And or they can wait out the match, which is 20 minutes. Each match is 20 minutes. Now, Jason's like, okay, well, he has seven people against him. What does Jason have? Well, Jason has a shift ability, which allows him to move fast for a brief period of time, and you can grab a counter. You can cancel it and grab a counter for a kill.
hmm
He has a morph ability, which he can teleport anywhere onto the map, and his other ability called Stalk, which basically, because when Jason's around, it plays music, and but depending on what Jason you are, it depends on the music they use. Like if like Manhattan, if I used to play Jason Takes Manhattan, which is part 8,
Mm-hmm.
they have that music playing. Or if you play the Jason Go to Hell, the music is different. So it was kind of cool. And then Jason has a sensibility. So basically, if the survivor is running, or if they're in a cabin will let up red, or if they're, because the more scared the counter get, it's easier for you to find them on the map. Of course, Jason has bear traps to lay down at like the phone box or the vehicle, so they, it deters people. Hey, do I want to use my pocket knife to get rid of this bear trap, or do I want to step in it and risking Jason coming towards my direction? And I mean, it's a fun game. It's a lot of fun when you got like a couple of your buddies playing. I mean, I don't really play it that much because it got a lot of toxic people that try hard. Because when I was first playing it, it was great because they have the close proximity voice chat. So you're Jason, you can talk back to the counselors and whatnot. So people are like talking, trash to you and whatnot. But it gets nowadays it gets pretty brutal because they kind of nerf Jason a little bit because he's too strong. At first, the developer wasn't going to do anything. He was like, well, it's Jason. He's supposed to be strong. Of course, Jason also has his rage ability, which basically he just doesn't chop down doors. He just walks through doors, which is pretty cool. And all his ability comes back quicker as well. So I mean, they have part 2, part 3, part 4, part 6, part 7, 8, and 9, and then the update they're gonna add Jason X.
Nice.
So they got, so it's fun for what it is. I mean, if you can always go on to like Twitch.tv and type in Friday the 13th gameplay. I'm pretty sure somebody's playing it at this time, and check out the game and see if it's something that you like. Or as I said, even if you don't want to deal with the online play, you can. Because you and I both are Jason fans, just play against the computer and just enjoy killing as Jason.
That sounds good to me. Now, back you're just saying about the 1-player mode. They finally added that because I know that was been discussed for a long time about them adding the the 1-player mode and all that.
I don't. It's been a while, so I'm not touched on the date, but it's basically from when I last played it. It's like you go against the AI. It's like almost like you're playing an online match, but against AI counselors. I know the single player is coming out very, very soon. But I could be wrong. Could be out now, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, but I heard the single player. You're gonna there's gonna be special kills in there and whatnot, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. But right now they have it where, as far as I know, they have it where you can play as if you were online, but it's against basically bots.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I know I'm eventually gonna grab the game because if I play it online or not, which I probably would play it online, I'm a Jason fan, so I feel like I need to own it. I own the one on regular Nintendo, which that game's fucking impossible to beat. I've probably, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you have to beat Jason like 3 times. Taking all his power away 3 times. I've done it as far as 1 time, not 3 times, just 1 time, and that's it. But one thing I do love about that game is the music. I know it's simple, but I just like the when you first turn the game on, that intro music and all that, and the character select music. That's probably my favorite music in the game.
Or the cat. What's it? Was the cabin? The cabin music.
That's another good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another good.
And I mean it's simple. I mean it's old ass game. I mean it's simple, but it works. And to me the music stands up. I'm not gonna say the game stands up to the times now, which I do. I'm one of the rare people that actually do like the game, probably because I'm such a Jason fan. But it's a fun game, and I know how you mentioned Kane Hodder with the new Jason game, how he was in that.
Yep.
I actually got to met.
He did motion capture for the game.
Yep.
So he did all the kills. So when you're playing as Jason, basically you can tell it's Kane Hodder.
Oh yeah. Him Now, I've said this before on other episodes of my podcast. I've said it on my live videos. I'm going to say it again. Hands down, he's my favorite. For one, he's my favorite horror icon, so he's obviously my favorite Jason. And I read his book, well, again with the audio book because I was at work and all that, so it's easier. Did the audio book of his book, and it was great read. I definitely want to own the hard copy of that. But it was like he really like when he finally got the role to play when he got to play Jason in part 7, he really took the job serious. Nothing against the other Jasons. I think everybody did an excellent job, but he just took it to that next level. Like I'll throw out a few things that I threw out in the last episode that I put out. Well, the Friday the 13th episode, I'll say. He was saying how like when he was in character, when he was in costume, he would stay away from the rest of the cast for the all 3 movies that he was in. Sorry, 4. And he would yeah, he would stay away from the cast just so like when he the little jump scares and stuff would be like more real because they're not hanging around he's not hanging out with them while he's in costume, joking around and all that. He's like staying away from them, which I love that. He was saying like the way he would get hyped up is like when he's away from them, he'd be yelling and banging on stuff just to kind of get into that violent, angry mode, that mood or whatever you want to call it.
Right, the ruthless
Yeah.
aggression.
Yes.
You know,
There you go.
Jason has. So, I mean, I didn't know that. I know like he really like stayed in character, like
Mhm.
was when he had that costume on, and that's what liking the job and enjoying the job is all about. Like to stay away from the cast and all of a sudden, like because people know about Jason, like oh yeah, Jason. All of a sudden, like all right, well Jason's gonna kill you. Like okay, well I'm gonna go here and Jason's gonna pop up. Yeah, it's like where's Jason? It's like oh don't worry, he's gonna be there. All of a sudden, like you go to that spot because I did produce a movie a couple years back. So, I mean, I know all about that. So, with going to that spot, the person to jump out like that, it's just gonna make that authentic, like, oh, holy God, or
Yeah.
oh, you scared the crap out of me. So that's actually very interesting that you brought that up. That's actually really awesome. I didn't know you. I mean, I heard you stayed in character, but I didn't know you stayed with like the cast.
Yep.
To make the jump scares a little bit more authentic.
Another funny thing he did, well, I thought this was funny. I don't remember the cast members he did this to, but I started with the Friday the 13th movies actually. When he was in, he was in the full Jason costume, and he was like, he would have to pee, right? And it's a pain in the ass to get the whole costume off to go to the bathroom. So, but I don't know how he did it, but he would pee in other people's trailers, like just go in there and just piss on the, just piss on the floor. He said he started that with part 7, and he did it for every single Jason movie. And as you know, he played Victor Crowley in all the Hatchet movies. He did the same thing in those movies. And I don't remember if it was one of the Hatchet movies or one of the Jason movies, but he even did it in his own freaking trailer. Like that's fucking hilarious right there. Like he just pissing on the floor, because he was like, he said he did it in the first movie, and then it just became like routine. And he was like, I don't know if he had to go and he was in his trailer, if he had to go and he couldn't get anyone else's trailer, but he just did it right on his own floor. Which again, that's funny as hell.
Well, yeah, that's funny. I don't know if the costume itself. So as I said, like when you're in a costume, like because as I said, when I was producing a movie a few years back, you're on set for like 12 hours at times, sometimes 16.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting stuff. People don't think like, oh, you're on a movie set. It's like you got to take 2 takes, or sometimes there's noise in the background because you're picking up car or people outside, because where I shot it, it was a high traffic area, and, kids were getting out of school, so there's plenty of times where you had to do scenes several times or move into, it's like, okay, guys, we can't do this now. We got to go to a different part of the set, and we'll plan out what to film here. So like, but back to my case, I'm drifting off a little bit. To be in costume for that long, and especially a costume that requires like makeup, and it's gonna be a pain. It's like, so it's like, hey man, when you gotta go,
you gotta go.
It.
Yep.
Do you, man? Do you? You just gotta let it go right down, trickle down your pants, just let it go.
Hey man, I hear you. I hear you in that. And what was I gonna say now? So, what horror movies are you looking forward to watching, like newer ones? I know before we started recording, you mentioned A Quiet Place, and I did actually just see that recently, about maybe a week ago. I'm not gonna spoil it for you at all. I'm gonna say, me personally, I feel it was overhyped, which I should know better. You're on Facebook, so you see how people share it all over Facebook saying it's the
Oh yeah,
scariest
oh
movie.
god, yeah, social media is the worst. I try to avoid it a little bit. I mean, I have social media, but a lot of people hype things up more than they should. But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't want to
Yep.
interrupt you there.
No, it's cool. Yeah, like they were saying it's the scariest movie, this, that, and the third, which it wasn't, but it was okay, maybe even good for me. But it's one of those things. Like I said, I don't want to give it away. But I'll just say this: if they made a prequel to this movie, I would probably like this movie a lot more. And it's just, again, but you can't go by that because there is a lot of, my wife loved the movie, and Henry loved the movie, so you can't really go by me saying it was all right or good because they really enjoyed the movie. Me, I think it's because, like, well, for one, slasher is my favorite genre of horror. I love the
Right.
up. I'm the type, I love the up in your face crazy. Even if there's a story with it, there could be a good story with it, but that's like my favorite. But I can deal with the more subtle, kind of laid back stuff too. It's just, I don't know. I just felt like this movie could have been a little bit more, and I would have liked it a lot more if it was just if they did a few things different in it. Like I said, I'm not gonna say anything about it. I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to go see it for yourself. And it's one of those things too where, like, for me in particular, maybe I'll have to go back and watch it again to get the real appreciation for it, like the real, to get the real feel for it. But I definitely say watch the movie, check it out, and get your opinion on it. Don't. It's one of those movies where I would say you're either gonna love it or you. Well, I can't even say that. I was gonna say you're either gonna love it or hate it because, like I said, I don't love it or hate it. I think it's all right, pretty good. But it's one of those movies where you can't go off of, say, me saying the movie's okay slash good and Henry saying the movie's really good. Go check it out. It's like, check it out for yourself type of deal.
You
You know?
voice your own opinion on the movie.
Yeah. Because there is we've both watched plenty of horror movies. We both watched plenty of really good and really bad horror movies. And it's like there's a movie, I don't remember what it's, I think it's called Bunny Massacre or something like that. I don't remember what it's called, but I watched it about a year or two ago with my wife, and it's, oh my god, it was so bad. It was a B-rated movie, maybe even a Z-rated movie if that's a movie rating. It was bad, and I can do cheesy, shitty movies. Those movies that are so bad they're good, but this movie was so bad it was bad, and it was
Like
just
there's no saving it. Yeah.
not at all.
Oh, the room is better, right?
It was
Like,
like, I don't want to take any credit away from the people who were in the movie or the people that created the movie because I know they tried and all that. It didn't. I didn't like it at all.
well, to add more to that, the thing you got to know is like when it comes to movies, you could have really great actors. It just could just be bad writing. Like you could get an actor like Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth and
Hmm.
all these great actors, but if the writing is wrong, they can't save the movie. So it's like maybe the actors were good in it, but it just their storytelling wasn't. You know, I'd like to go back a little bit because you were talking about how A Quiet Place was overhyped, and this overhype has been going back since Paranormal Activity. They're like, oh, the scariest film and everything. And they show the trailers of people being scared and jump scared in movie theaters and whatnot. I mean, or now like this new Netflix one, Veronica. People shutting this thing off halfway through. It's what it is. It's just it's marketing voice for you to go see the movie, which is not. I'm not judging. If it gets people to see a movie, if it works, by all means. I mean, I said I produced the movie myself, so I understand these marketing employees, to get people to watch films. You want people to watch film, you want to get noticed and whatnot. Hopefully, it pays off again. So it's just one of those things where you got the trailer and then you got sponsored like on social media. They do like a little article or something it's one of those things where you got to step back and think to yourself, like, is this something that I want to see? Like, does this fit into my genre of like movie that I want to see? Like, for instance, you said you're right up slasher flick, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's like, oh, do I think this is a straight up slasher flick, and I'm gonna enjoy this? And I'm a horror fan. It's like, probably not. I mean, I'm a mix. I'm slasher, and I also like psychological thrillers. My favorite psychological one, I don't think it's really psychological. I think it's more suspense and psychological. Definitely 1408, but I have to say Shining as well. The Shining was great. But 1408 with John Cusack and Samuel Jackson. John Cusack carried that movie himself. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's not like bloody or gory. It's suspense. It's psychological, but like it's one of those films that you keep revisiting because you always miss something. So I have a tradition. It's kind of funny. I always around October I always watch 1408. So that and amongst other whole bunch of plethora of horror like Night of the Creeps. And of course, Friday the 13th up there as well. So.
Yeah, with 1408, I actually did see. I only seen that one time. I actually seen that within the past 2 years too. It was a really good movie. It was crazy. And again, I get why you're saying what you just said about it's one of those movies you should revisit multiple times because you can kind of miss stuff. Because I know I definitely missed things in it, and it wasn't from lack of paying attention or falling asleep. It was just because there's just so much crazy shit in that movie, and it was real. It was really well done. And it's not like I don't only like slashers. I know you didn't say that I do, but I'm just saying like that's just my favorite genre is slashers, like my number one genre. But I'll watch any type of horror movie. I don't care if it's A, B, C, D, all the way down to Z, whatever you want to. But because they're fun. Like horror is definitely my favorite genre, and I'll say that because you can literally go anywhere with horror. Like it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good movie, but I mean, not that now I'm going to just name a couple of random horror things. Not that these type of movies have happened. Not that I've seen these type of horror movies, but you can do you can really, if you really wanted to, you can do a romantic horror. You can do comedy horror. You can do just straight up serious horror, whatever. Like I feel like that's the only genre where you can literally go in any direction with and not be wrong. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good movie. It's just that it's not going to be wrong. You know what I mean? Like
it's kind of like almost like the jack of all trades but master of none.
Exactly. It's fun, and it's I don't like I said like it's I don't know, and there's so many different like as far as horror goes, like thriller goes hand in hand with horror. Like some people are like, oh, is this thriller? You can even say kind of sci-fi. It's just one of them things where it's like me and you have both watched again plenty of movies, and you're sitting there. I can't think of a movie title off the top of my head, but I'll just say like you go to Netflix, you look for a horror movie, and you're looking through movies, and you're like horror. Like, why is this in the horror category? This is not horror to me. But thinking about it, that could be horror to somebody else, Like, so I don't I don't fucking know, man. It's funny. It's just funny how that shit works with the horror genre. Like, there's no other genre that it's like, is this comedy or is this drama or is it is it whatever? Is it suspense? It's like, no, this is a comedy movie. I'm fucking laughing through the whole movie. Horror, it can bounce around in all those genres, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How is it? How is this a horror movie?
There's a lot of Netflix movies like I don't know sections that are like that, but you know what? I mean, sometimes you find a little gem in there,
Oh yeah. I see the movie called. I actually watched this movie on YouTube last year, the end of last year, called the fuck was it? Tree Venge. Have you ever seen that?
You know what? Last year I remember that post that you posted on the page, your horror page. Never seen it, but I think you actually said you didn't mind it. You actually enjoyed it.
I honestly, I really did, and I want to revisit that movie. It's only like 15 minutes long, but I'd love to revisit that movie and do a review. And I'm just gonna throw this out here. I know I've talked to friends about this, but I want to do like like they have a Cryptic TV that's online. You can watch YouTube, the Cryptic TV thing. You follow them on YouTube. They have like horror movie shorts and this movie Tree Venge. I wouldn't mind doing an episode or episodes here and there on this podcast. Yes, I'm putting it out here, people. So just listen. Of just say we pick like 3 or 4 horror movie shorts that are like a half hour or less, 45 minutes or less. Excuse me. We talk about it on a podcast or whatever and rate them and just go, so on and so forth. That could be me and you, me, you and whoever, or me and whoever. But I think that would be fun. And this movie Tree Venge. I didn't mean to cut you off, but this movie Tree Venge was a real fun, funny, fucked up movie. Crazy as hell, made no sense. I really had a great time watching this movie. And this is one of those movies that we discussed earlier in this episode. It's so bad that you enjoy it. It's just like the acting's bad, the story's bad. Everything about the movie does not work, but it works. As crazy as that sounds, and you're just like, and it's only about 15 minutes, so it's not like you're wasting an hour. Like if this movie was an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're like, why the fuck did I sit here and watch this movie for 2 hours? But because it's 15 minutes and so much crazy shit happens in 15 minutes, you're just like, wow, that was a fun fucking movie, a fun fucking horror, gory, weird, fucked up movie. I would watch this again. It only took up 15 minutes of my time, but whatever they were trying to tell you in this movie, you got it in that 15 minutes. It didn't take them 2 hours, which thank God it didn't take them 2 hours. Because like again, you'd be like, what the fuck? But it was. I do recommend this movie, and I'm definitely gonna come back to it again one day and watch it. It's just, and it's on YouTube. Like I said, that's the best thing about it. It's on YouTube, so you can watch it for free.
Oh, nice. Well, I'll have to check it out. Definitely. It's and to add more to it, you're right. Like look, if you're, it's one of those things where it's tough because, as I said, I mean, I don't mean to again like repeat this again, but when I was making my movie a couple years back, it's it's so tough because when you're making the movie, you don't see it getting put together.
Yeah,
So you're doing this scene one day, then you jump into the end of the movie, you're jumping to the start of the movie, you're jumping in, you know, the middle. It can be hectic at times. So, and you think it's great, you're all laughing, you all take pride in that work, about that scene and whatnot, and like after a long day of shooting, it's just a bunch of jumble stuff. So it's like, no, it's how you put the movie together. How it gets put together, which makes a staple to the movie. And it's tough because like when these scenes get put together and whatnot, and it comes together, you enjoy it because you're the one that like, yeah, that's my movie. I really enjoy it. I think other people are gonna like it. But like a movie that in the back of your mind, like this is probably not gonna, this is like a B-rated movie. This is not gonna be, anything spectacular. So you just don't want to elongate the movie. Like if you're gonna do like a horror movie or something, maybe like an hour and like 10 hour, 15, whatever. If you make, or doing short films helps too. Doing short films are great. I believe in a lot of short films because it helps you you know build better with the people you work with, and then eventually you can get to that bigger movie, and it helps you with ideas because you can get feedback from people that enjoy your short films or what they didn't like. Because as you said, you're not wasting an hour and 15. You're not wasting an hour and a half. You just take 15 minutes to watch this or 20 minutes to watch this. Yeah, I'll sit through a bad film, but if it's one of my buddies or people want to, if the director want to get opinions from people will give you more feedback to help you, grow as a person.
I I agree with all that. And you know what too, like back to the whole B films or whatever you want. Like I said, keep making the joke A through Z.
Yep.
Um, I don't mind the bad ones because, like I said, like we both said, actually, I should say, they're real fun, and a lot of them are just like fan made films, and just like it's just a fan of a horror genre because we're speaking horror, is a fan of that genre, and they're just like, you know what, I want to try something,
Yeah,
and
as I said, where again, back to what I was saying. I don't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
no, you're good.
That's what I did. Basically, I had opportunity to, basically be executive producer of this person. I read the script. I had some say. He still had his way with the movie, but I had some say. It was something they can be proud of. And when I was talking to him, as you said, like it's something he wants to show. He wants to be proud of. So I understand where you come from. Even when it comes to a bad movie, it's that imaginative. Like it's not on paper anymore. It's actually on screen. So
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a movie called Thanksgiving. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm guessing you've heard of it.
yep.
I'm live on my page real quick, just for a little bit, so I'll give these people a sneak peek. But anyway, that movie right there, hilarious, funny fucking movie. I really, really enjoyed that. I want to actually watch that again and definitely do a podcast of that. But the funny thing about that movie, it was so ridiculous. Have you seen it before I?
No, I've seen it, but
That's another one you can watch on YouTube. But
YouTube.
yeah, it was. Listen, man, this movie might be an hour, hour and a half. I honestly forgot, but it's so freaking ridiculous. It's one of those cheesy horror movies. So freaking funny, and like the very first line of the freaking movie is "nice tits, bitch." Like I lost my damn mind on it.
Wait, that's the one with the turkey, right?
Yeah, like said by a
Oh, okay, yeah,
turkey.
I think Henry was telling me about that. Like, I really never got a chance to, to watch it. I didn't know it was on YouTube, so.
But yeah, I would definitely say check that movie out if you can. It's another fun, funny, random horror movie, and I I enjoyed it. And the funny thing about the movie, right, is they made a sequel. It's called Thanksgiving, but it's Thanksgiving 3. And I haven't seen it yet. I've heard bits and pieces from a couple people. I guess it takes place in space, and the joke is they're looking for Thanksgiving Part 2. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that because I haven't seen it yet. I do plan on watching that. And I like those kind of movies because it's like, again, it's just a random cheesy horror movie. You don't expect much from them. You don't expect anything at all from the movie. You just kind of watch it and enjoy it for what it is. It's not like, excuse me, it's not like you're going to watch, let's say, because we were talking about it, the It from last year that came out.
Yep.
You're expecting a whole lot from that movie, but just the budget in general, and because of the movie, the book, the movie, you're like, okay, this has to be great. But when you think of a movie like Thanksgiving, you're expecting something wild, ridiculous, crazy, nonsense, which this was. And again, I highly recommend this movie. I really feel like Scott, man, check out both the Thanksgiving movies and
Tree
Treevenge. Yes, check out Treevenge. And now listen, I'm not saying these are gonna be some excellent movies, these instant classics, because they're not. But they're gonna be fun B movies. If you want to do a classic, not classic, but like yeah, these are like top of the line to me. They're top funny B movies. They're great for what they are. 15 minutes for one. The other one I think is an hour, hour and a half. I really don't remember, but it's definitely worth the watch.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. When we can finish this up, maybe you can just message me the titles again, because like, oh yeah, just check them out, and then do
I'll,
something 5 minutes later, then all of a sudden you forget the titles. Like, what was those again?
I'll definitely
Well,
I'll post it in the group, and then I'll also email it to you just to watch
yeah,
those movies. Matter of fact, I'll email you the links to watch those movies.
yeah, that'd be great, perfect, man. I enjoy looking at them. Also, too, as well, I know we got on to a quiet place and rambled on for quite some time. Another movie I was interested in seeing this year, I got to bring it up. It's definitely a Halloween remake.
Oh hell
So
yeah!
my question to you is, how do you feel about it? Because they are retconning all the other Halloweens, and basically it takes place 40 years after the first one. How do you feel about it? And are you excited? Are you excited enough to go see it?
It's funny you say that because somebody just posted the poster of that movie in the group today. And to answer your question, yes, I'm excited about it. I feel great about it, and um I have high hopes for it. Like I hope that they don't mess it up. I really have a good feeling about the movie Halloween, the Halloween remake for my live viewers, if anybody's watching it live besides my awesome wife. But I have a good feeling about it. Like I just would like I know how now is this one, is it taking place after part two or part three?
This, as I said, they retconned all the other ones. So this takes place. You know how he got shot at the end of the first one, and then he
Okay.
disappears.
Yep.
So basically, this takes place 40 years after that. So Lori going to the hospital is not even happening.
Okay.
So it just basically disappeared for 40 years after he got shot, and he's coming back to hospital.
Okay. Well, in that case, like I said, I just hope they don't go too crazy with it. Like I don't know what they're gonna do though. It's tough, but I'm very excited about it. I am gonna go see this movie in theaters just because like I haven't seen any other Halloween movie in theaters, and I feel I need this. It's one of those things where it's like it's one of the, again, how we were talking about slasher films. It's one of the iconic slasher films. He's an icon. Even though we know Jason would whoop his ass,
Yeah,
he's still an icon.
right. It's funny because um, I mean, I like Michael Myers in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
Myers has a special place in my heart for a horror villain. Actually, it's kind of funny. I do play a game called Dead by Daylight,
Mm-hmm.
and they added Michael Myers. I'm pretty sure you heard the game, but they added Michael Myers and Laurie Strode to the game.
That's
which
awesome.
is really cool because when you're playing Myers in the game, they gave him basically killers has a terror radius, and normal killers have pretty much big terror radius, so you can hear them coming, so the survivors can hide.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with Myers, since he's a stalker, and that's his power, he has to basically sucks off of people's evil,
Mm-hmm.
and basically gets stronger throughout the match. But when he starts off, he has no terror radius, so you sneak up on people and you stalk them, and then all of a sudden when you get to the next tier, it plays a little bit of a Halloween, and then when you reach the third tier, it has the kitchen knife. He actually holds it up, and it plays the Halloween music a little bit longer.
Nice.
And when he hits somebody, basically it one-shots them. But also, too, what's great about it, too, why I like Myers so much in that game, because Myers killed Judith, one of his, I think it's older sister.
Mm-hmm.
His older sister, Laurie's youngest. They have the Judas a tombstone piece, and when you equip that on Myers in the game, when he tier up to his max level, when you find a survivor, you can just straight up kill him, which is pretty cool. I find that pretty awesome because that game got to hook people. But I don't get too much into that. But it was pretty cool. They added Freddy Krueger in Dead by Daylight as well. They added the pig from Saw from Dead by Daylight. That's what kind of, tell you the truth, man. I'm hoping all they need to do is add Jason. Great. That game would be fantastic. But like I said, Myers always had a special spot for me. I just enjoyed it because it was always the build. What makes that movie so good is always the build up.
Yep. Yep.
There's always the build up. Like when is money going to strike, and then all of a sudden when he strikes, man, he just calms after everybody, and it's great. It's just so great him just going on a tangent. I mean, speaking of remakes, since we did that earlier in the podcast, I gotta ask you, did you see the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween?
I did. And before I get into that, give me 1 second to think real quick. The Dead by Daylight game, how is that movie?
That game.
Sorry,
It's
game.
fun. It's again, you can play as a killer, straight killer, or you can play as survivor. Basically, killer is in first person view. Survivor is in third person. So survivors, you got a little bit more of a view, a camera view.
Okay.
Killers is first person, so it's kind of hard. It's dark. The lore is pretty cool about it. Basically, this entity pulled in survivors for a trial, basically, because the title of it is "Death Is Not an Escape." So basically, when you kill a survivor, By put him on, you gotta down a survivor and place him on a hook. You gotta place him on a hook 3 times to kill him for sacrifice for this thing called the entity. And when they die, they don't die. They actually wake up back at the campfire, and you have to go through another trial. They keep going through trials against different killers and whatnot. And all the killers had different backstories and whatnot. I mean, I think it would be awesome. Like the board itself, like it would be an awesome, even if it's like a 15-minute short.
Yeah.
If I could produce anything, I would love to make a 15-minute Dead by Daylight short, because I truly loved that game when it first came out in beta. My roommate got me involved in it. I'm like, this game has lots of potential. I was around when they released Michael Myers. I fell in love with the game more. I mean, it does have its up and downs, and people in the community's bad, but I just play the game strictly for fun. I stream it a lot on Twitch. It's like people's like, oh man, you're so good at the game. It's like, I don't care to be good. I'm just having so much fun with the game, and it's horror. It's horror, and when you're a survivor, because when you're in the killer's terror radius, you hear a heartbeat. So when you're hiding, and it gets more intense, and you're seeing the killer just walk by you, it's like you're in a horror, and your heart's racing, your palms are sweaty. It's like, oh, this game is fantastic, and I still get that to this day when I'm like, oh God, like Myers always sneaking up and pulling off a generator. I didn't know it was Myers. It's so great, man. There's a lot of great to that game, and a lot of fun to that game, especially if you're a horror fan. You should really check it out yourself. Again, you can find it on Twitch. I even have it on my Twitch channel.
Nice.
I go Snapper 101. I have my previous broadcast saved. I play both Survivor and Killer, so you can definitely check it out if you want.
I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. But it's now, what system do you use? Do you use PS4 or Xbox?
Yeah, PS4.
That's good to know. So I'm gonna have to get on there and we can play together one of these. When I get it, I'll let you know and all that. But so it's that game is definitely worth the money though. That Dead by Daylight, you feel?
I feel if you're a horror fan, as I said, you like Freddy, because if you're a horror fan, who does not like Freddy? I mean, it's not Freddy, Robert Englund Freddy. It's the remake Freddy, unfortunately, but it's still Freddy.
Yeah.
It's cool because you can't see Freddy when you're awake as a survivor. He has to pull you into a dream state. So you hear his lullaby when he's nearby.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool that you hear his lullaby. And then when he pulls you in a dream state, then you actually can see Freddy, which is pretty cool. Like, I thought that was a pretty cool concept, Worth it? Yeah, dude, I think it's like $20. It's $20, you can't really beat it. They have, they have Leatherface. I forgot. I know you're a fan of Leatherface. I saw a post in the group page. But yeah, they have Leatherface in there too as well. I mean, the game's fantastic. The company just bought the rights to the game so they can produce what they want to produce and change what they want to change.
I like that.
And it seems like those guys are really horror fans, and they're just trying their best to make a really good game, and I can appreciate that, So I said, if you're a fan of, I mean, alone, just being a fan of Michael Myers and Freddy, and I enjoy Leatherface, but man, if they get the rights to Jason soon, it's over. Dead by Daylight is going to be the top-notch horror game, I think.
Wow, that's cool, man. Like, I think that's pretty cool, though. I mean, I know you said it's not Robert Englund's Freddy, but it's still Freddy, and they have other horror icons in there, except the big man Jason. But I'm gonna have to check that out too, because I've been hearing things about that game a lot, and I've been hearing things about Friday. Those are like the top 2 horror games I heard about that I haven't played ever. And I'm gonna have to get these games one of these days and play online and stream and all that.
Yeah, it's fun. As I said, one of those games is just fun. Like, it's just so much fun in that game. Like, it's great, especially like if you want to be a kind of like a killer and kill people, or you want to be that 80s campy, I'm gonna hide from a killer, you have find me.
That's
I
cool.
mean, it's just that fun. I mean, that's what I get out of the game. I mean, there's a lot of people that take the game a lot more serious than I do, which is fine. Play the game that you want to play. You spend the money.
Oh
Play
yeah.
the game how you want to play. But man, it's just so much fun for me as being a horror fan. To play that game. Day in day out. It's like, yeah, it's repetitive, but I just have so much fun with it. I don't care that it's repetitive. There's like certain games that you find that you enjoy, and Dead by Daylight is definitely a big one for me. So
That's cool, man. I'm definitely gonna have to check those two games out. And getting into what was the thing I was gonna ask you? What is it, a 50-year anniversary thing that you're getting into, or that you're helping work on?
yes.
What is that about?
Oh, okay. So this year marks the 50th anniversary of the Night of the Dead.
Mhm.
I mean, that's if we didn't have Night of the Dead, we wouldn't have The Walking Dead or anything. Night of the Dead is pretty much the staple for everything. So basically, I'm going to be the senior editor of the 50th anniversary of Night of the Dead. It's coming out in October. I was talking to Tom from Fantico,
Mhm.
who signed the contract. It's going to be ready for October release this year. How I got into that, you might be asking yourself. Well, it's a little bit of a backstory. I'm trying to make it short, but not leave out too much of the good details. So basically, you probably remember this convention. I'm pretty sure I saw you and Henry there. Fanticon.
Yep, I've been there.
I was working at Fanticon as like basically help out, the guests, whatever. I mean, I met Basil Gogos, Bruce Fuller, who did a makeup for Apocalypse, who did the Predator 2 makeup, who did basically made up the Evil Ash in Evil Dead Army of Darkness. Met Kevin Van Hessenrich from Basset Case, with James Tolkien, Veronica Carlson. I don't think I've mentioned Basil Gogos, who basically did a famous Monster Chronicles, like drawing like Dracula and Frankenstein and all that. He's a really, really good painter and whatnot. I want to say a painter artist, they're artist. But so I was there. Met Chris Harrelson from The Walking Dead, Santiago from The Walking Dead. Santiago Cirillo was actually Julius in season, I think, 4 from The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
And Chris Harrelson was like pretty much one of the main zombies that you see on the show, because he had that build where he was skinny enough. And basically, when you first watch The Walking Dead in first season, the zombies are a little bit thicker, and then as the seasons go on, they get thinner, because they just want to let you know they're degrading. So he kind of had to build to keep him on show for quite some time. He was like the main zombie that would basically be in the show. He was that napalm zombie that was stuck to the ground, that was melted into the ground.
Yeah.
So he was that. So I was working there and met a bunch of comic book artists and whatnot. So basically, the person that was running it was Tom Sulkin, who publishes Fanticon comics like Smiling Eddie. I believe that's what it's called, Smiling Eddie. Whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I can share the link because I'm part of the authorized Night of the Living Dead, part of that group. But he does the whole bunch, like I think Gore Streak as well. So a whole bunch of comics. They just don't do Night of the Living Dead. He doesn't just do that. He does other comics as well. So he was there. He funded the whole Fanticon, and he got my cousin Phil, who pretty much knew Tom from Fanticon, and basically my cousin Phil knew all these actors and stuff to get for the event. So I'm being a good cousin. He's like, hey, I need your help at Fanticon. Would you want to help?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, sure. So I helped at Fanticon, and I did it very, very well. Tom was a great guy. It was an honor to meet him. So I thought it was like, oh, it was cool, but whatnot. And then it was like last year, I get a phone call from my cousin, and he's like, hey, would you want to be part of the 50th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead? I'm like, hey, man, sign me up.
Hell yeah.
So it was no issue. I've been talking to Tom and Phil. We've been working on it and whatnot. And it's tough because it's gonna be like a graphic novel. So it's gonna have a prologue, and it's gonna have the original story. It's gonna have interviews with me, my cousin Phil Sawyer, Tom Salkin as well. It's gonna have so much stuff in it. It's gonna be great. I can't wait for it. I'm excited for the release, and be part of it. Especially being a horror fan, I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I'm just glad to be part of something this big. It was just it's very sad to hear that George Merrill passed away.
Yeah.
Because we were in talks with him, I guess, but it's just tough. It just sucks at times. When something like that happens, especially somebody that big for the book. It just kind of sucks. You kind of wish that you could have stuck around just for a little bit longer to see, the 50th anniversary. So that's pretty much it in the short version. Not being too long-winded, I hope. So.
No, you're good, man. You're good. That's something I definitely want to check out when it comes closer. We definitely got to hook up again and talk about that. And yeah, that's something I really want to check out when that comes out. Congratulations on that, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah, I wish I could talk a little bit more about it, but I haven't really talked to my higher ups, so I don't know how much I can reveal.
No, that's
but I mean, just telling you that's gonna have a prologue and interviews and stuff, and whatnot. So, that's not too give away too much.
No, that's I trust me, man. I understand that you got to keep a lot of things under wraps until it's actually out, or until you get the okay, because it's just one of them things you don't want to mess it up for yourself. So I respect that.
Yeah. So I mean, I might have a surprise in there too as well. So, but yeah, as to get closer, I'll see what I can say in the podcast or interview or whatnot. Because I just want to make sure I got my butt covered. Because as easily as you can be a part of something, as easily you can get taken away.
Yep, exactly. Well, I will say this though, man. When you are free to really, really, really discuss it, definitely need you back on the Horror with Search 30 podcast to discuss that. 'Cause that's something I feel like that's definitely awesome.
Absolutely, man. I'm having fun. This was a fun podcast, man. I'm so glad to be. I'm actually honored to be on your podcast.
I'm not. Hey, man.
I'm honored. I mean, we talked about so many stuff. I know we kind of really didn't follow a format, but there's just so much good stuff to talk about horror, and I could just keep going on.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, definitely. I mean, I know you're gonna be on now that we finally got you on here. I know you're gonna be on plenty of times, and I'll say this: the next time you're on, because we talked through email and all that stuff, we could discuss. We could figure out what movie you can actually pick the movie if you want. What movie you would like to review,
Okay.
and we can obviously you watch the movie, check it out. If you have to take notes, cool. You don't have to share. If you do take notes, don't share the notes with me because I like more of like a freestyle thing, so it's more of a surprise, more of like a real, real thing, real conversation that we don't know what we're talking about type of deal. But yeah, I mean,
those are the best podcasts. Tell you the truth, I think that's why I really have fun with podcasting. It didn't really follow a format. We're doing this, just kept on. Flowing to other subjects.
Exactly.
Great,
But shit, I'll just throw it out there now. Let's just say if you had to choose, if you can choose now, what movie would you want to do as far as like a movie review on here? Just to throw it out there.
I mean, that's a no-brainer, man. We have to do a Jason movie.
Oh,
that's a no-brainer between you and me. It's a Jason movie. We'll do part 7.
Part 7. I mean, I'll do any one. Like you did at the beginning, you did say Jason Takes Manhattan is your favorite one, so I'll even do that. I really do not mind. I'll do that one. But speaking of Jason, um, another another movie I recommend for you to check out besides, and I'll send you this information in an email after this recording's over. But besides Thanksgiving and Treevenge is Never Hike Alone, and that's also on YouTube. Fan made film. It's a Friday the 13th fan made film. Excellent movie. I thought it was a really, really, probably one of the best, if not the best fan made film that I can remember watching and really enjoying. They actually had they had a Kickstart thing and all that, and I backed it to get one of their Blu. They have a Blu-ray coming out. I believe it's in September. I think it's over with to get it, but I paid that $25 to get. I enjoyed that movie that much that I can watch on free on YouTube just to add it into my Friday the 13th collection. I'm like, I have to add this. I have to add it. It's really good. So I definitely say you should check that movie out. And Jason Takes Manhattan, when you're on here again, I guess that's the movie we're doing, man.
Yeah, well, definitely, man. I look forward to doing that review. You know, maybe it'll go a little bit higher on your list. Maybe
We'll see. Like I told you,
it's not the worst, though. It's not the worst.
No, it's not the worst. And like I told you before, I really, in their own ways, I enjoyed every single Jason movie, even Jason Goes to Hell. But it was just like, I don't. It's a list that can switch anytime. I will say this though: Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and Jason Takes Manhattan will probably always be my bottom 3.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah, Jason X was pretty bad.
But I would rewatch any of those movies. I would rewatch them all, just at the very least, just for the kills, especially with Jason X and the other ones.
Yeah, like the when he freezes that one chick's face in the nitroglycerin, he smashes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, theoretically, it's actually impossible to do that, but it's still great. You know, but still, I've watched on I think Mythbusters. They said that it wouldn't happen like that, and that's such exploration. But still, it doesn't matter. It was cool. That's
for the movie.
You know.
Now I forgot the town or the Hang on. I forgot the island it was, but it was like one of those little islands next to near Hawaii. That Kane Hodder, he grew he wasn't born there, but he was pretty much raised there, maybe as a young teen. And they mention it in what the hell's the movie? Quick. They mention it in the Hatchet movies. One there's an island. I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember what it's called. And they mentioned, and I guess, and Jason X. Do you know the machine that he's in? That's where he's frozen.
Yep.
It's on there. Well, whatever the name is on there is the name of the island, and it's. I guess there's a few other parts in some Jason movies that Kane Hodder's in, and I believe in Hatchet that it comes up a few times, and he says he's paying homage to his home. Well, where he was raised, not where he was born, where he was raised, which I thought was pretty cool. That I got from his book also, which again, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm all for suggestions, especially it's fun to talk to other people that in the same genre as you are. I said you're best friends with Henry for a long time, so talking to Henry and him, he's actually Henry's such a good guy. I remember him giving me the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a great read. And I don't read much, but that was a great read. And Henry's good at suggestions, so I'll definitely take your word. I'll definitely check them out. Especially it's in my category, so definitely it's worth branching out.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like saying nice things about Henry, but he's a good guy. Or I mean, I hate saying nice things about Henry, but he's a good dude though. But what the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, that book, definitely read it. Kane Hodder's just an amazing fucking person. I'm sure you've seen me post a picture earlier today. I'm guessing you've seen it I shared it with Kane Hodder. I met him a couple of years ago at Monster Mania, and there's a picture of him choking me in the picture, which I thought was
Oh
awesome.
yeah, like Kane Hodder is like one of the, because he's like Jason for 4 movies, so
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. Like that dude loves just killing people on screen, and he seems like such a cool dude. Like, hey, do you think you can like do something like you're killing me in this picture? And he would probably totally do it. So
Oh,
I did see that picture you're talking about.
he's
That's
awesome.
awesome. It's awesome to have like people like that who really enjoy the work. You know,
Oh yeah.
enjoy the fans. You know, like fans that's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. You know.
I can't.
Makes you revisit those movies again. I met that too. Yeah, you do your thing. You do your thing, Jason.
Yep.
AKA
Exactly. I hope I get the pleasure of meeting that guy. Excuse me, meeting him again because he was so freaking awesome. And what makes this more cool is like when I met him, it was like I said, it was Monster Mania. It was out in New Jersey, right? Actually, I got a funny thing to tell you. First, I go out there to get his autograph. Henry, he couldn't go with me at the time, so he gave me and my wife some money to get the autograph for him. And I'm talking to him. I don't know if it was through a text or a phone call, but I'm talking to Henry. I'm out in Jersey, and he was like, "Oh man." I was like, "What's going on?" He was like, "I don't know what to have Kane Hodder say when he signs the machete for me." I was like, "Yo, he had no lines in the movie. All he has to do was sign his name. So what's he gonna say? He has no lines in the movie." That part was funny. That stuck out to me. And then when I was going to get Kane Hodder's autograph, right? I remember I was the next person in line, and he's talking to the person ahead of me, signing the autograph, blah blah blah, whatever. They walk off. Bam Margera walks in like this side door from the outside, and he's like, "Listen," he's like, "Can you please do me a favor?" He's like, "Can you just wait right here? I want to go over there and choke Bam." And he went over there. He talked to Bam for a second, and then that same way he was choking me in the picture, he choked Bam. People were taking pictures of that, and he came right back over, talked to me for a few minutes, signed my autographs, and choked me. And it was just like he's really a down to earth person. He really cares about his fans and enjoys his fans. Like he enjoys those cons, and like I said, he's my favorite horror icon. Obviously, hands down, my favorite Jason. And it'd be cool to meet him again. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him donning the mask one more time if they made another Jason movie. Say because there's 12 movies out. Say they made a 13th and final movie. If Kane Hodder was that that would be perfect to me. Even if he was just the stunt, even if he wasn't like the main Jason, if he was a stunt double, if he was like a counselor, like an older counselor, or maybe just something in the movie, I would love him to play Jason, but just in, I would love him to play Jason. I feel like that would be the best way to do it. But if he was just in the movie in some capacity, to where you've seen Kane Hodder in the movie, if not as Jason, as somebody in the movie, maybe as that crazy old guy that's telling you not to go to the camp. Who knows?
Well, actually, Kane Hodder played the security guard in.
He also played in Jason Goes to Hell. I know he was Jason, but he also played as a cop or security guard or something at one part. He had a line in there. He was in a few movies. He was in I want to say Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3. He was doing the stunt as Leatherface. So he's played Leatherface. He's technically played as Leatherface because of that.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Jason Goes to Hell. Remember where the Freddy glove is pulling Jason's mask down?
Yep.
Kane Hodder. So
I believe Henry told me about that glove.
So I mean, in a sense, you could say he's played Jason, he's played Freddy, and he's played Leatherface. And I don't know if I read this. I think it was in his book, or I've read it online. I don't remember because it was kind of recent. But he was saying he would love to be a stunt double, or somehow just play Michael Myers, even a little bit, just so he can say he's played those icons, which would be fucking awesome as shit.
Kane Hodder would be awesome as like Myers. I mean, you got the mask, you got the William Shatner mask.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
but still, be great.
Even if he just, like I said, even if he just did like a stunt double thing, that would be awesome. He's just he loves the genre. He loves doing it. He loves like the Victor Crowley role. That's another good series. The Hatchet movies. He just loves those type of roles, and shit. I want to see him in more horror movies. I would love to see him play Jason again, like I said. But excuse me. Besides Friday the 13th. What's your next? Like, who's your second favorite slasher besides Jason? I should say.
Oh, jeez, man.
Like, I'm in it.
I would say Freddy, but I have as I said, like earlier in my podcast, I have a special heart place for Myers. It's a slasher flick, but it's that when he's gonna strike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that build up. It's it's like Jason already got the cover with in your face. I'm gonna hunt you down and kill you. Myers like, I see you. I'm watching you from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna strike, but you don't know when. And when I come, you're not gonna see me coming. And that's what's so great because I remember I think it was the first film. I think it was Laurie was going through like a doorway, and he came down from the doorway so silently. He's not only stalking his victim, but he's finding where to actually attack his victim. Even though he's supposed to be like this pure evil, but he's actually very intelligent as well. On top of that, so like Myers, would have to say my second, and then of course I give up to Rob England with Freddy for a third. I mean, I wasn't a huge Freddy fan. I enjoy Freddy for what he is, but Jason, Myers, and Freddy.
Now, this one right here is gonna be like out of the freaking ballpark, I guess you could say. Or people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Because I know a lot of people haven't seen the movie, as many people have seen Friday the 13th, the movies we've discussed. But I'm gonna have to say my number 2 right now because of this is how much I enjoyed this movie, Terrifier. Art the Clown is my second favorite slasher. That's my second favorite slasher, followed by Michael, and number 4, I'll say Freddy. And that's no disrespect to those guys, but it's just like he was silent, he was brutal, and he was funny at the same time. And it's like he's a clown. I guess a clown mime. I guess they're the same thing. I don't know. But it was like the guy who played him. His name is David something. I actually friended him on Facebook. David Howard, I believe. Did such an amazing freaking job. Again, so what movie I said? Never Hike Alone, Terrifier, Thanksgiving, and Treevenge. Those 4 movies you definitely have to check out when you get a chance, man, because they're just, I mean, they're fun movies. They're good movies, in my opinion. Like I told you, I gave Terrifier, which people are gonna be like, what the hell? How did you give it this high of a rating? But I gave it a 9.5, based on nothing to do with the story, just based on the slasherism of it.
Yeah, as I said, like when you like going back again, as you said, like you see Friday the 13th, or you see Michael Myers, or you see like Freddy, you're never rooting for the you know what I mean, like the main
the victims, right?
The victims. You're always like, I want to see how you're gonna kill this person.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
wonder how this person's gonna die, or it's just kind of like you're cheering for the killer in those movies. Like, I mean, that's just me. It's like,
oh, I'm the same way.
Like when you're looking at like basically, the victims, they always got like the campy stuff and whatever, blah blah. It's just like, you ever just like watch a movie and do something like campy and like, man, I just hope he pops out of nowhere and just like decapitates somebody.
Yes.
Either it happens or it doesn't happen, so it kind of depresses you. But later on in the movie, he makes up for it by doing an awesome kill. It's like, that was worth the wait.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like, oh man, that's the thing, man. Like slashers, it's all up in your face. You get the jump scares, you get the crazy thing, but you get the gory, bloody, fucked up kills, which I love in those movies. And you don't, I'll say with a slasher too. I mean, don't get me wrong. The best horror movies are the ones that can have a good story to it, and like have some depth to it and all that. But with a slasher film, you really don't need too much of a deep story at all.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Like as I said, like with Jason, it's basically the whole premise of Jason. Basically, is he was a kid. He drowned because nobody was paying attention. The counselor wasn't. He saw his mom get decapitated, and he was pissed off because he saw that, and everybody to his campground, get murdered. Simple enough, basic, easy stuff. It
Angela.
doesn't have to be this dramatic, storytelling. I mean, that's what a lot of other horror movies suffer from. They do a lot of like dramatic storytelling. Like, it was good for what you had. Just do a short, overview of how this came about. It doesn't even make too much sense,
Mm-hmm.
and it's people there to see the killer kill people. I mean, obviously, you have that one survivor usually at times, but hey, that's absolutely fine. Or you can do the Rob Zombie twist with House of 1,000 Corpses, where they end up capturing the last person who thought they were safe, in the vehicle. So, I mean, it's just great. People live there to watch people die. So.
What did you think about, now this movie I only seen once, and the jackass asshole that my brother Henry is, he told me that there was a surprise at the end. And to me, I'll tell you the movie title in a second. Now to me, when I hear surprise, I'm thinking surprise, that's a good thing. This time it wasn't. So the movie Sleepaway Camp, did you see that movie?
Yes, actually, your Henry let me borrow Sleepaway Camp.
Of course he did.
So it's up there with the classics.
It really is.
It's up there. It definitely doesn't have that. Oh hey, because I'm not going to ruin the surprise just in case anybody that hears this.
I'm gonna ruin it.
Has not seen it, but like. It's not what a surprise. It's definitely not what you expect.
Hell no.
So it kind of comes out a little bit out of nowhere, but it's going towards the end of the movie, and then all of a sudden it just rushes right into that. You just boom, it just happens. Like you're like, okay, wasn't expecting that kind of thing, but it's I said it's still up there. I mean, it feels like, I hate to say it, kind of feels like a little bit of like Friday the 13th. Setting, because
the camp,
the lake camp, it has that feel of it and whatnot.
And the lake, yep.
Yeah, so it has the cheesy little killings and whatnot, but it's still up there.
Speaking of that movie, just a real quick thing, which I need to revisit that movie. Excuse me again. I just recently got it on Blu-ray. Last September, October-ish, I went to ScareCon with my friend, with Henry and then my boy Rob. And so I got the movie on Blu-ray, and met Felissa Rose for like the second or third time. She's so nice. She's amazing. Like a real nice. She really enjoys. Similar to Kane Hodder, she really enjoys the con. She'll sit and talk with the fans. Like we've talked to her. We went by her table a few times and talked to her for a while. And that's one thing I can say. Like I don't know if you've ever been to I know you've been to conventions like Comic Cons and stuff, but I don't know if you've ever been to like a horror convention. But I highly recommend.
Yeah, I really haven't. I said I worked at FanCon a couple years ago.
Okay.
It did have a couple. I said I met Kevin Hansen, Rick, and Bruce Fuller, and all the artists and stuff, and Brock Carlson, who worked with Christopher Lee. I think she was part of Hammer Films. Not to take that the wrong way, but I think that was the company was called. Don't quote me on it. It's been a while. So like, horror conventions. I mean, it's like still horror, but I mean, those sort of like it was fun. It was great. I mean, of course I was working, so it was fun. But I mean, I had time to check out tables and talk to some people. I mean, conventions are great, man. I get excited. I mean, I was working. I was actually saddened that I missed a chance to meet Robert Englund.
Oh.
Met Rob Englund.
Yes.
And, dude, I'm so jealous now. You know what I mean? I mean, that's like how like maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity. Who knows? To get him
to meet him. I actually, I have a No, you can finish your thought and then I'll go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's just like one of the things where I was just working and nothing I could have done about it. So.
Yeah, I have a little quick story about Robert Englund. Me, my wife, and Henry went to Monster Mania a few years back, and he was there. My wife waited in line for us all day. Like me and Henry were bouncing around. We would come back, give her food and water. And anyway, we get up, we get in line, get upstairs to the room. One room away from, we were like one room, fifth, sixth row back. I don't remember what row we were in. For meeting Robert, things are going. They come in the room. They're like, listen, we were in the room for about at least an hour, maybe more, probably more. I don't remember. They're like, he's not signing more autographs tonight, and if you guys, you guys will be the first ones to get his autograph tomorrow. But we didn't plan to stay overnight, so we didn't stay overnight. You know what I mean? You don't just stay, just boom, out of the blue stay. So we didn't get a chance to meet him that weekend. So it was cool to meet him a couple weeks ago at the Empire State Comic Con. And another thing, as you know, Henry moved like a month before. He was so mad and upset. He's not going to want me to say this. He's not going to admit it, but he called me up crying one night because he couldn't meet Robert Englund in person. And yeah, I just put that out there. I'm probably lying, but I'm not, or I am. But as you probably know this. That's Henry's favorite slasher, Freddy Krueger. It's my wife's favorite slasher. But who else was there? Amanda Weiss was awesome to meet.
Now I saw her, so I didn't mean to jump in.
No, you're good.
I didn't know. It was cool what she did for the page.
Yes.
I just did not know what she did. Like any films that I should recognize her in. I feel bad. I'm like.
Well, She played. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay. Well, wow. I feel terrible.
Hey, it's cool. It's cool. And she was amazing. Like, the funny thing was, I got her autograph, right? And I walked back up to her. I was like, hey, I don't remember if I left and came back or whatever, but I was like, can I ask you a favor? And she's like, yeah, sure. What's up? I was like, you know what she said. I was like, I want to record you saying, welcome to Horror with Sir Sturdy, which was freaking that right there. When she did it, I was like, that's awesome. That right there put her up. And you heard all the good things I was saying about Kane Hodder, but just that right there, as far as meeting horror people that were in horror, whatever, that put her at number one just because of that. Because I'm like, that was just awesome. That meant a lot to me. And then, by the way, watch the movie The Id. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to. So watch the movie The Id. It's THEID. It's her movie, Amanda Weiss's movie, most recent movie. So check that out.
It was what, Id?
Yeah, The Id.
Oh, The Id. Okay.
That's another. So I'll be sending you a list, Scott. Don't worry.
Yeah. I can't talk about it. It feels because I remember talking to Henry, and he goes, "Yeah," like, "Oh, yeah, I saw this movie." And he's like, "Yeah, my buddy, hasn't seen it." I'm like, "Really?" I was like, "It's like, how could you not see that?" And now I'm doing a podcast with you. There's like so many movies that you recommend, like I haven't seen. So it's great, man. I'm looking forward to checking them out.
She played for the Nightmare on Elm Street. She played Tina Gray.
Is that the
Amanda
one
Weiss.
where she gets sliced up on the ceiling of the bedroom?
No, I don't remember how she dies, honestly. Henry, I know you can hear this. You can tell us.
That was one of my favorite kills. Like sleeping, she gets dragged up the wall.
You know what? In the bedroom. Yeah. That, I think that is hers. And then everybody thinks the boyfriend killed her for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah. So she was awesome to meet. And then like right after I did that, she did that for me. She was like, okay, now I need you to do me a favor. She was like, I need you to she's like, will you tell people to watch The Id? I was like, sure. I was like, can you hold up the picture? And I did. I'm sure you've seen that video. It was like a quick 7-second video. I was like, hey, everybody watch The Id, or Freddy. Amanda Weiss said, watch The Id or Freddy will kill you. Something like that. And that's posted. I share that too. It was just like every time people join the group, I put Welcome to Horror with Sir Sturdy by the Amanda Weiss thing. And I put up the Id thing because it was awesome. And what makes this going on with this Amanda Weiss thing, this will be the last thing I say, what makes this even more awesome is she actually shared that. Like when I shared the Watch the Id thing on my page.
Yep, she shared
and tagged her. No, the id just to watch the id. She shared that on her thing, on her fan page, which I was like, that's awesome. So I went over to her the next day, and I was like, thank you, that's so awesome. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I forgot what I said exactly. I was just like that. That's why she's like my. Me and Henry, first episode we did like our top 5 people who we met, which I want to revisit that one of these days. And I haven't met her then, but she's now my new number 1. So everybody's bumping down 1. I think Kane was 2. I think Kane was 1. He's now 2. I think Felissa Rose was 2. Now she's 3, and so on.
So what was that? I said this one is not like a horror one,
Mm-hmm.
but well, it's kind of when I met Santiago Cirillo. So there's I have I think Henry has seen it. You might have seen it when you saw it. I have the Smallville Superman jacket. It's
Okay.
Leather. It's like leather has S and it's like black and back. Well, when I was working at Phantom, and I was talking to Santiago Cirillo, and him and I were just guessing and whatnot. You know, and he was wearing a black version of it, straight black. I'm like, hey, I gotta ask you, where did you find that jacket? Because I'm a Superman fan. You know, I'm a big time Superman fan. And he's like, he goes, I'm sorry, I wish I would tell you, but it's like my wife found it online.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, just type in Smallville Superman jacket. I'm pretty sure you can find it. You know, he was really cool, really, really cool guy. And so he goes, what? He goes, you're a big Superman fan? I'm like, yeah, I am. He goes, not a bigger Superman fan than I am. I'm like, how is that? He rolls up his sleeve, and in Kryptonian, he has Santiago tattooed on his forearm.
That is awesome.
Take the cake. And then I went to a Poughkeepsie convention, and he was there, and I had a jacket on me at the time. And he goes, I was walking by, he's like, oh, I know that person. I know him. You know, got my jacket on, don't you? So, I mean, he came over, give me a nice handshake. Really cool guy, it's honest and whatnot. So, also too, Chris Hollison was there. Really, really awesome guy from The Walking Dead. Talking to him. Definitely good.
No, that's awesome.
So, but it's like he worked with the other cast. He worked with Maggie, Andrew Lincoln, Gwen, everybody, Abraham. So it was fun to hear some stories. I mean, it's been a while, so I don't really remember the story, but it was just that moment. You're just like, oh my God, you're talking to one of the, horror people of Walking Dead, and they're talking about the other actors, and it's so cool, So yeah, I just figured I'd share that little story. Like a lot of people, are really cool when you meet them in person. Like especially horror people, they're like really ripped awesome. I really haven't, as far as I know, like from what I heard, really met a horror person that was actually, not likable. Like I know Henry, and you met the woman that played the main character at Superman Camp. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So, and Henry was telling me that she was awesome to meet.
She was, we met her a couple times. Felissa Rose, we met her a few times, and she was so nice, so friendly, loves the fans and all that. I'm actually I need to buy a Sleepaway Camp shirt. But I gotta say, my cousin requested a shout out. He's watching the video, so shout out to my short little Mexican cousin Rico out in California, who pretends to be Puerto Rican. What's up, cuzzo? It's all love. But I got this live video going. I just want to show a couple of things off real quick. People who are listening to the podcast, that are going to be listening to this later on, I should say, you won't know what I'm talking about unless you come and watch this video on the Horror with Sir Sturdy fan page. My wife ordered these knives. They were on sale. They were like $13. I believe the person's name who made these, I think her name is April Cook. I know her, and I believe her husband's name is Ryan Cook. I believe he's a fan in this horror page. But if you're watching the video, Scott, I'm not sure if you are or not, to everybody that is watching the video. Yeah, but so you can see, it's from Nightmare on Elm Street paintings on these knives, and I just think that these are pretty amazing. I figured I'll do it all in one little shot here. But I love the art on these knives. Again, I believe her name is April Cook. I don't have it written down anywhere, and I believe her husband's name is Ryan Cook.
Well, those are actually really nice. Actually, my roommate is Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, he really enjoys it. He definitely like Jack.
Jack
I was gonna say Jack Sparrow, but you know,
Jack Skellington, yeah. But I had to show those off, and I'm gonna show off a little something else. I know you guys seen the pictures in the post, and it's not fake news. I have business cards now for a research story that my amazing wife made, and this podcast I'm trying to grow with it a little bit. I got this little card, this thing right here. Got a few business cards of from other. Well, okay. Just showing them off. I'm not going to show them off too much, but as you can see, the horror research story. Let me zoom in a little bit on that, the glare. And yeah, so trying to make this podcast and these pages grow. I love horror so much; it's fun, and yeah, man, I'm having a great time with this conversation. I'll tell you that. Excuse me. So
man, it was definitely great. You know, maybe one of these times I can stop on and be on video with you.
that sounds good, man.
I mean, that would be pretty awesome. Maybe we can do when we do the review of Jason Take Manhattan.
That sounds
Talk
good.
more about me being part of the 50th anniversary of the Night of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I said I'll discuss with my higher ups. See what I can.
See what you can discuss. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to can. You know, I'm excited, but I want to make sure.
I mean,
my eyes dotted and T crossed. You know.
Even if, as far as that goes, even if we had to wait for the release to happen, even if we had to wait for it to drop, I'm cool with that. And then you can come in, show it off on video and stuff, and talk about it. That way, you can say more about it without having to worry about I can't say this, I can't say this. That way, you have more freedom to really, really discuss it and sell it to an
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
But for those of you who are just tuning into the video, if you haven't heard this whole thing, Scott's favorite Friday the 13th film is Jason Takes Manhattan. Let's not judge him on that. Everybody has their own favorites, which is cool. He's a Jason fan, so it's cool. But I had to throw that out there. You know what? Speaking on Jason Takes Manhattan, one thing that I found strange and didn't like was the way it ended. Remember where he was in the sewer?
Yep.
And the ass, whatever went through the sewer, the ass or whatever, that's not important.
It's like acid, yeah.
My question is, why and how the hell was he a child, shaking there, crying, screaming, saying help? Wasn't he saying help?
Yeah, I was saying help, yeah.
That's the part I was just like, why? He was a grown ass man through every single movie you've seen him in. Until that part.
I just think it was just like a rush ending. Because it just didn't make any sense. Because he kills that guy with the wrench.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't show it. It shows a shadow. The shadow getting hit over the head with the wrench and dies. And it was just down to the last two people's how are we going to end this? Oh, we're going to run toxic tidal wave through the sewer.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about you, but that doesn't seem like it happened in New York. But I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
City, I know we're upstate, whatever, but it's I don't hear about a big toxic waste just flowing through a sewer, at times, whatever. So it just seems we gotta do something. He has to be stopped, and these heroes have to make it out alive, I guess. Which if you read Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. What's cool about it is all the survivors from each Jason movie all come together in that comic, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's dope. What was I gonna say to you? I know Jason's your favorite. Okay, I got a quick question for you before we end this off.
Yeah, that's fine.
What do you think of this matchup? I've talked about this before. I'm sure you've seen me talking about it on a video before. Jason versus Michael Myers.
Jason versus Michael Myers. Wow, that's...
And I'm just talking
Are we talking about zombie Jason or part
See, that's the tough thing because you say he's still human, but if he drowned, let's just let's just say zombie Jason when he comes back in part 6.
Okay, Zombie Jason versus Myers.
Yeah.
See, like it's like two. It's like Myers isn't really that, as far as I know, not really that fast. I mean, and when they did Freddy vs. Jason, Jason's really not that fast.
Mm-mm.
So it's gonna be two slow moving, people. Unless Myers is quicker than. I mean, we still got the new movie coming out, so who knows if he's gonna. He doesn't really like throw down,
Yeah.
So it seemed like Freddy vs. Jason. It was cool, but like Jason really never had to throw down. Like in Jason Take Manhattan, that one dude boxes him, and then Jason just punched his head off in one go.
That was funny.
But, it's hard to say because like as far as I remember, like Myers is not really a fast mover, and he kind of kills swiftly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like a ninja versus a brute, almost. It's like, I don't know, but if they ever did one, I would have to give it to Jason, if it's Zombie Jason. I think he just has the strength, and plus he has that machete, and if he lands one hit on the machete against Myers, which I think he can do kind of easily, it's not like Freddy, because Freddy's more limber, more athletic. I think he could hit Myers a lot easier. So I think it would be kind of like a no contest. Jason, not because I'm a Jason fan, just from what I've seen from a Halloween movie, I don't foresee Myers definitely probably maybe take a jump on him, but I think Jason would just take his hits. So
I agree. I think Jason would destroy Myers, but I just want to get your little take on that because there's a fan on the group page. His name is Jake Thomas. Shout out to him. He actually, I've brought this up before, but he brought this up to me recently that he wanted to get on a podcast and discuss this, which I would love to. And Jake, I know you're watching, so we are going to do that one of these days. Maybe we can get a group of people or whatever to all get on one of these things to talk online about this and just give our own opinions on it. Talk about a story and give our own opinions. Maybe even do it live if possible. I think it'll be fun. But yeah, I think Jason would win. A big reason, yes, I am being biased. I don't care. I'm a huge Jason fan, but I just feel Jason will whoop his ass. I'm gonna just put it out there and say that he's strong as hell, and Jason's pretty much unstoppable, in my opinion. Like, I know he's been stopped in his movies, but he's still unstoppable. They only stopped him in his movies because they had to end the movie.
Yeah. Like I said, like the abrupt ending for Jason Take Manhattan, because there was no way they were like kind of really escaping him, So like it just, I know what you mean. That's why like a lot of people thought it was bad because of that ending. It just ends so like abrupt. It's like, yeah, you heard about it when he first got into the sewer about it being flooded, but it just seemed like more of a cop out than
and like
it could have been so much better if like they did like the Tommy Jarvis thing in part I think it's 6, where he wraps a chain around Jason again.
Okay, yep.
Put him in the lake. Yeah, like even if they did something like that and one of the characters died, like it's always really realistic, always the female character that survives. And that reminds me, since we're talking about Jason, there actually is a fun theory that Jason actually never existed. It was actually like the female lead character that actually did all the killings, and Jason was just a figment of their imagination.
Wow.
So yeah, I think Angry Video Game Nerd did a review for like all the Jason movies, but he mentioned something like that. There's a theory about that. It's pretty fun because it's interesting because in part 2, Jason, I think, jumps through the window again and grabs the main girl there, and then all of a sudden they flash to the ambulance, and she's like going kind of insane, like, oh, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And then part 3, Pam jumps out of the water and grabs the chick off the boat, but then it flashes back to like Jason's on the ground and whatnot.
Yep.
So
When he's in the barn.
it's just a fun little theory that it's just Jason really never existed. He's actually the main character. Is actually doing all the killing.
That's interesting. That's kind of crazy. That is a fun theory. That is a fun fan theory. I never heard that one. I'm gonna have to check that out. But before I end it, man, do you have any closing things you want to say? Closing statements? Do you have anything you want to plug? Or
Yeah, as I said, I'm a horror fan as yourself, like yourself. I do Twitch. I stream once in a while. I stream a lot of Dead by Daylight, sometimes Friday the 13th.
Mhm.
Not to like. My Twitch name is GhostNapa101 at twitch.tv. Smash the like button, get notified when I go live.
okay.
I mean, I do have Facebook as well. Probably just type that in the chat, or I can just give the link to my main page, whatever in the chat if you want.
Yeah, I tagged you in the the video. I tagged you in the live video, but
okay, yeah. So like, click the tag, and that's my main page. As I said, the 50th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead. I'm excited for more information about that coming soon. Looking forward to actually, being there with you. Sorry, showing off the book. I'll definitely sign a book for you.
awesome.
For you and your wife.
Awesome.
That won't be no problem. And if anybody else would like a copy, just let me know. I mean, I'm not looking to get rich off of it or anything. I'm just glad to be a part of it, and it's an amazing experience. So just pretty much follow my Facebook. Do a lot of streaming on Twitch. I do got an Instagram, but I really hardly post on that. So that's pretty much all I can really plug in. But there's a shout out that I want to give out. I wouldn't be part of the 50th anniversary of the Night of the Living Dead without my cousin Phil Sawyer. I think it's the third. Really good guy. My cousin knows a lot of actors and actresses and stuff. And, he gave me this opportunity along with Tom. I mean, he gave me opportunity, but I had to work for it too.
Yeah.
I had to press Tom at FamilyCon, and it was nice to get to know him as well and whatnot. So, definitely, he does DJ service and whatnot. He does, birthday parties and whatnot. So, but I mean, I couldn't leave this podcast without please giving him some credit where credit due, and he's also another senior editor of as well. So there's two senior editors. I'm one, and he is the other one.
That's awesome.
So, all right, that's pretty much all I got to plug in for now. But there'll probably be more stuff maybe later on. But for now, just follow Facebook or follow Twitch. I am generally active in the Twitch chat. So if you even just want to ask stories about my FamilyCon experience, I met Bruce Baldwin Fuller, I met Charles Barnett III, I met John Hebert, who did X-Men Punisher, quite a few, James Halkin, Veronica Carlson, there's Go-Go's. So I met even WWE superstar Jimmy the big mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Santiago Srilla, and Chris Harrison, Walking Dead. So, if you guys feel free to stop by my Twitch, or if you just want to message me on my Facebook and ask me a question, I'll be glad to tell you the story as well. So, that's all I have for you for now.
All right, man. Cool. Thank you for being on. And everybody that's watching, thank you for watching. Everybody that's going to be listening to this podcast when it drops, thank you for listening. And I had a great time on this as always. And I'm going to end it right here. And just, man, thanks again for being on.
Oh, yeah, man. I felt like I could talk for longer. But it's like, we can talk about so much stuff. And as I said, this subject is so fun to talk about, and not only for me, but like I like talking to somebody that enjoys horror as I do. And also, too, we're both Jason fans, so like,
Yes.
and we could go on and on. That's fantastic. I'm totally looking forward to next time you have me on your show. Hopefully, next time I'll be there right next to you and whatnot. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely do this again, but I'm gonna end it right here, though. So everybody, again, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Keep the shares coming. Keep the plays and downloads coming. I greatly appreciate it. This podcast is growing, and it's all because of you guys. Thank you so much for the support, and as always,